Hello, everyone. Welcome to the World Monologue Games Global Finalists info session. Great to have you here. There's not too many people watching on the stream at this moment, but hopefully people will tune in and hopefully you'll all be watching this later. I hope you do, because we do want to make sure everybody is across the information. So the purpose of this session is just to run through all of the ins and outs of the global finals. Just to make sure that everybody's across how it all goes and that we don't have any confusion or people doing the wrong thing and God forbid getting themselves disqualified. So I am just going to run through all of the info. I'll try to be pretty quick today because it's fairly similar to what we've experienced before in the regionals, so I won't dwell too much on those things that are similar. First of all, congratulations on making it through to the Globals. That is a wonderful achievement. We get many people involved with World Monologue Games, and getting to the regionals is already quite competitive, let alone being in the top, whatever it is, 20-25% of your category, maybe a bit less depending on the category, and making it through. So huge congratulations for getting this far. That's really quite an achievement. Pardon me. And we've got some wonderful judges on the judging panel this year, so we're very excited that we are getting you guys in front of some of the best casting directors in the world. Literally, we've got maybe 4 casting directors who are really at that level, casting major movies and TV series, and many of them are saying quite nice things about the performances they're seeing, so this is really exciting for us. Let's dive into how it all works. So I'm going to start by talking through submissions. Very similar to the regionals. It must be the same monologue and the same time limits of the category still apply. So if it's Tigers, Youth, Main Pro, Main Am, that's 1 to 2.5 minutes. It can't be less, it can't be more. If you send us a 55-second video for one of those categories, we cannot broadcast it. And yes, we are serious about that. I think at least 1, maybe 2 people lost their place in the regionals because they did not fit the time limit, and unfortunately we can't use that work. So make sure you fit the time limits first and foremost. Shouldn't be too hard since you've already done the monologue twice now, once at the qualifiers, once at the regionals. In terms of making changes, well, it must be the same script. Look, minor changes are okay. If it's just 1 or 2 words here or there, we're pretty comfortable with that. If it's more than just very minor paraphrasing, please let us know what your intentions are in terms of making those minor changes, and we'll let you know. If it's small enough, we might approve it, but sometimes we have not allowed people to make bigger changes they wanted to make, because the key purpose here of the games is that you are working with the same script every time. You're not changing that. Having said that, whilst changing the words is not allowed under our parameters, changing your performance is. You are able to reinterpret the performance if you want to. There is no obligation to make it different. We actually kind of recommend that you just stick with the thing that the judges liked and helped you get through to the globals. Sometimes people do quite drastically reinterpret their monologues and it works. In our experience, I'd say that most of the time, large reinterpretations, like making quite significant changes, tends to go worse. So we don't recommend it easily, but we wouldn't say don't do it. If you feel like you can do something a little bit different and make it much better, then you are welcome to give that a go. You can certainly change things like the set, your costume, the environment, backgrounds, anything like that. That is all fine. You can change your appearance through your clothing, hair and makeup, that kind of stuff. When you make your video, please don't put on any introductions. You've all seen by now that we just show the performances. The show will look very, very similar in that regard. It will be a live stream, and I'll get to that. But yeah, don't add any intros or titles or graphics or anything like that. We will not use that stuff. It's just wasting our time and wasting your time, of course. One or two people had watermarks on their videos as well. So sometimes it's their name. I think at least one person recorded using Zoom, and that puts their name just like at the bottom corner, like here. So that's not great. Please don't do that if you can, unless you absolutely can't avoid it. Because what we have to do is zoom in so that name isn't visible. We're not going to have it there. We already put names and countries, etc., with our standard format, so it doesn't look messy. So try not to do that if you can avoid it. Definitely no music. Remember that everything you do must be performed live and by yourself, so no pre-recording, no additional people, no warm bodies. So that's other actors who are visible. It can only be you. It's strictly a monologue competition, and it's a solo competition. So no other people visible or audible in your video whatsoever. That's great. You can have somebody film it, of course. Many people just choose to put their phone or camera on a stand. That's fine. It's not about that. If you want to have someone film your performance, if that works better for you, you're very welcome to do that. You can't change the language. Some people performed in languages other than English and have made it through to the globals, which is really exciting. Well done, thank you. It has to be the same language as it was before. That changing the language would be vastly changing the script, so we don't allow that. And the judges and viewers enjoyed it in whatever language you performed, so you've made it through. We do have quite a few people going through to the globals who have not performed in English, which is always exciting. With the naming convention, it should be in the description of this video. It is in every email we send, and it is on the website, the Global Submissions page. Please check the naming convention carefully. It is your name, your country, and then your category. Now, that might be different to how it was for the regionals. If so, it's because we have something that is more useful for us. Since these videos are not made public, your YouTube video will not be seen by anyone. We will download it and then put it into our event. So it's only us that sees this naming convention, and the naming convention makes sure that the videos get sorted by name and country and category, and that when we're using the editing software, it's really easy to identify the name of the person through the file name. So if you're wondering why we do that, that's why we have that naming convention. So please follow that carefully. This is super important. The video must be unlisted on YouTube. If you make the video public and we see that it's public, you will have to record a new version. We had this same requirement in the regionals, and thankfully everybody made their videos unlisted. The reason is because we are simulating a live performance for the globals, and we are promising our viewers a unique show that they have not seen anything of before. So it must be unlisted, and you cannot share it with anyone. That includes your agent. It includes your mum or your best friend. Please do not share the video with anybody except World Monologue Games. That would be great. If it is public, we will let you do a new recording and send it through to us, but only if that's before the deadline. Once the deadline passes, we do not have enough time to do anything. We give ourselves the absolute least amount of time to give you the most amount of time to do your performances. We need to do quite a lot of processing, editing the videos together and getting them into our system in various ways. We have multiple editors, and we have someone who does quality assurance, who watches the videos before they're fully finalized, just to make sure that we are getting everything right, like your name, for example, your country. So this all takes a bit of time. And we're also pretty busy running different businesses as well. So Lisa, my wife, and co-head of World Monologue Games, and we run 8 businesses together. So we are very, very busy. So we do give you as much time as we can. And we don't necessarily look at your video before the deadline. We wait until all the videos are in at the deadline, then we download them. So if you put it on public, we might not see it until it's too late, and then you will lose your spot in the globals. So please be very careful. We absolutely hate to lose anybody. We're not saying this to be like really rulesy or punitive or mean or anything. We just want to make sure that everybody gets in and that there are no issues. It would be a very, very poor outcome if you made a mistake like making it public and you missed the deadline for that reason. Now, with your previous performances, the ones you did for the regionals, you are now welcome to publish those. So feel free to publish those on YouTube or on social media or on your website or your casting site or wherever you want. That is absolutely fine now that the regionals are finished. You are welcome to do whatever you want. That's up to you. With the globals videos, though, you must leave them online until after the globals. Sorry, you must leave them on unlisted until after the globals, because we do sometimes have to go and check the video, a week after the deadline for whatever reason. There's lots of reasons we might go in and check the regionals videos or the globals videos or something like that. So please do not take those down. You could get disqualified if you do that. If you are not responsive, if you've done that and we need to check something, again, just leave it up there. It's super easy. It stays on unlisted. No one sees it except us. Sorry, word salads. So yeah, please just, do that. All right, the submission form on the Global Finals page, so with the email that's congratulated you and welcomed you to the Global Finals, you get a link to the Global Finals page. It is already up and working. We have, in fact, received 1 or 2 submissions from the really keen people who've done World Monologue Games before and know all of the rules and requirements, which is really exciting. Just please be very, very careful when you make your submission to include the correct link. Sometimes people, like the website, the form, it's the browser that does this. The form remembers the last link that they put in. So they'll click on the submission field to put in their YouTube link, and last year's link pops up. Or, a link from the regionals or something. So actually 1 or 2 people did that this year. And it was really sad because one person lost their spot in the event. They submitted last year's link. And by the time we realized this, it was just too late for us to do anything about it because we have such a tight time frame. So that was really, really disappointing. So please be careful. You can see on the website which video you've submitted. After you've submitted it, it might take a few minutes, but it appears on the same page. So you can go in and double check that the video you submitted is correct, and then you know that there's no issues. In terms of the deadlines are again in the email and on the website. There's a countdown timer for the deadlines, which makes it really easy to see when your thing is due. We always have confusion around time zones because we're in Australia. We use the AEDT time zone and we're ahead of most of the world, and sometimes people try to submit one day late because their Monday is our Tuesday, etc. So check the countdown timer on the website if you're not sure. But it is Monday the 6th of November, which is a week from today as we're recording this, for endurance, sprint, tigers and youth. So those first 4 categories, your deadline is next Monday. The main amateur and the main professional shows, they get an extra week because at the time of recording, we don't even know who's going through yet. The judgment hasn't been finalised. The viewer vote hasn't been finalised. So we don't know. Certainly you, main am, main pro participants watching this video at this stage, you obviously don't know whether or not you've made it through. So you'll get less time just by virtue of that fact. So we give you an extra week just to make sure that you've got enough time. It gives you 2 weekends. That's what we want, is you've got 2 full clear weekends, so you've got time to do your recording. And so, yeah, just please read the instructions carefully. If you've watched this video and read the instructions on the website and you're not clear about anything, please just let us know. Just pop us an email, hit reply to any World Monologue Games email, and that goes into our shared inbox. Lisa or I will get back to you as soon as we can. I have some performance tips here. I'm going to go through this quickly because I'm pretty much just going to say the same things I said for the regionals info session. But particularly now that we've made it through to the globals, it's very tempting to try to go bigger than before. I've got to do a better performance. It's got to be bigger. It has to be raising the stakes, etc. Sometimes that's a good idea. Sometimes it's not such a good idea. If your performance was really good last time, like if the journey, the emotions were on point, then you don't really need to change anything. If you try to make it too big, you might end up with the opposite problem. It might end up just being over the top and no longer, an example of great acting. I like comedy in particular. We've seen that as well. Sometimes people want to go harder with the comedy, so they exaggerate the jokes a bit, and it just doesn't really tend to work so much. If you've got good humor coming out in your regionals performance, then just try to, replicate that performance. Make some improvements where you can, but try not to go over the top with it. I have a really great quote from a judge that I'm going to read out, one of our judging panel. So many people make the same mistakes time again, thinking that just being there playing one state of high drama makes it interesting. They need journeys and dynamics, which is what an out-of-context monologue audition monologue needs the most. I didn't realize when I put that in here is a few words mixed around here, but the point is, you do need to have a journey. You do need dynamics. You don't want to just show one emotion and just hold that all the way through. That might work for some sprint monologues, but even some sprint monologues will be boring if you do nothing more than one thing. So think about dynamics and think about your journey. And think about the viewers. I think a lot of actors try to perform as though they're performing for casting directors. Look, this isn't an audition. It is a showcase. It is made for the public. It's made for viewers. So we want to have an event that our viewers enjoy. If the viewers don't enjoy it, they don't watch. If the viewers don't watch, we've got nothing. So think about the viewer experience. We did have a judge say that actors very often think that just crying is what gets them roles, but they hate it. Now, that's one casting director's opinion. She's very, very senior, again, cast major TV shows and movies. Everybody has different opinions, but it's good to hear that just trying to get out the waterworks and crying is just not the only thing that even, casting directors value. So not saying don't cry. Absolutely. It could be very appropriate for your piece. But again, think about subtlety, think about journey, think about the dynamics, think about the viewer experience. And then I think that's the way to do a really good performance. Publicity. We have a publicity form. I might just share it. There we go. This is a media release that I wrote and have already sent to you, and it is on the Global Finals page. What you can see here is a pre-written media release where it has these yellow bits and brackets. That's where you can put your details in. So it could be quite simple, just putting in your name or your country. But down here, we've got a few sentences about the monologue itself. I don't know why that menu's there. It's very annoying. So you can just fill in all of these yellow blank sections, and then you have got your media release ready. So just if you would like to approach the media, just some top tips. There's lots of ways to do it. So if you've got a way that works, just do that. That's fine. But some tips for people who are new to the media. It's a great idea to call up your local paper or local radio station and just say, "Hi, my name's Pete. I am an actor and I'm doing something called World Monologue Games. It's a big global event. I was just wondering if there's someone I could send a media release to, one of your journalists." Even better, look up who does the arts and culture in the publication or on the radio station. They'll usually say yes, or maybe they're not interested, and then you can just get their email address and send it through. Journalists are very, very busy people. They have a lot of people, wanting to get their attention, and the media has been in decline for a number of years, so they won't necessarily be quite too responsive. So just follow up. If you hear nothing within, say, a week, follow up the following week and just give them another quick call and just say, "Hey, I sent you the media release, just wanted to double check that you received it." If they say no, they're very polite about it, so it's usually pretty, it's a pretty smooth process. But there's a few tips on approaching the media. Some miscellaneous things. I've skipped a whole bunch of other things too. I've got another page. So I'm kind of doing it in the wrong order, but it doesn't really matter which order it is. So just a few other bits and pieces, and then I'll go back to some chunkier sections. We do have merchandise available for the Global Finals. You can find the links in the emails and on the Global Finals page. Lisa, if you're watching this and you have a link to the merch store for Globals, pop it in the chat when you get a moment. You can make a promo video for the Global Finals, and we will post it for you on the World Monologue Games social media. We have a decent number of followers on Instagram. We're approaching 2,500, which is not bad. Because social media was never anything we did until last year. We were very much not really focusing on that side of things. I think we got about 3,500 on Facebook as well, on our page and group. So, we've got a decent following, and we can post your little promo videos talking about you being in the Globals and how excited you are, and maybe, saying something about your piece or about your acting, something like that. If you do a video like that, just send it to us however you want, whatever's easier. It could be YouTube, you could send us a file, because it's not going directly into our system. It doesn't matter as much with the format, etc. As long as we can, use the file, we're fine. So feel free to do a little promo video and send it through to us, and we will promote you. We have the winners announcement for all 6 categories of the Globals on the 29th of November, which is after the second weekend. So if you're on the first weekend, we do not announce the winners for those 3 categories separately. We announce all 6 together after the final weekend. That information, like almost everything that I'm saying, is on the website. I meant to say right at the beginning that we had only 86 performers in the Globals across all of the 6 categories. So there's not many people making it through out of all of the submissions we get. So once again, it's a huge achievement and congratulations. Let me just change my screen here. What I wanted to show you very quickly is the prize money. World Monologue Games does pay cash prizes to our winners, and we are very pleased to be donating, if that's the right word, this money ourselves to pay for these prizes. We have had sponsors in the past. It's actually quite a lot of work to find sponsors, so we just haven't done that this year. We've been very busy with other projects, but we wanted to make sure that there's good cash prizes so that everybody who lands on the podium, the gold, silver or bronze in any category, gets to walk away with a little bit of cash. And it's a pretty good prize for the main pro category with 500 Australian dollars. So those are the prizes, and we're really pleased to be offering them. That's about it. I do have a note that we have to pay via PayPal. That is the e-commerce gateway that we use. So if you're in Australia, we can do a bank transfer, which is better because no one has to pay any fees. So you won't lose any of your prize money to PayPal. I'm going to withhold my opinion on PayPal, although that probably makes my opinion pretty clear. If you're in Australia, you can do a bank transfer or we'll transfer it to you. But if you're anywhere else, we have to pay via PayPal. So you will need a PayPal account to collect the money. It is free to join, all of that stuff. Judging, a little bit different to the regionals, a bit more similar to the endurance category. So what we do here is the judges, as always, have their 3 top choices. Their first place gets 3 points, their second place 2, their third place 1. The viewers get to pick their 2 equal favourite performers from the show. But what we do is we count the viewers collectively as a judge. This is what we did in endurance. So what that means is, rather than giving, the award to the viewers vote winner of whatever category endurance, what we do is we look at the viewer vote. Whoever has the most viewer votes, they get 3 points, which is the same as first place from a judge. Whoever has the second most viewer votes gets 2 points, second place from a judge. And whoever has the third most viewer votes in their category gets 1 judge's point. I hope that makes sense. So the viewers work together to be a judge. And that can be pretty significant. There is a show coming up this Wednesday. I won't give any spoilers, but the difference between third and fourth place was 1 vote from the viewers. So in this show, I'm pretty sure only 3 go through in this particular round. 3 judges' choice. Well, it's complicated. I won't bore you with the details, but basically there's a decider with using the viewer vote, and there was only 1 vote difference. So every vote truly does count. And if you might end up getting that extra vote, and that might be the reason why you land on the podium. So do think about that. In terms of disqualification for voting stuff, we have had a great year. There's always someone who tries to slip a dodgy one, by us. We've had a really great year. We're very grateful to the honesty and integrity that we've seen from this year's participants. So you guys are amazing, like really. We're very grateful for that. So thank you for showing that integrity and trying to play fair. We're seeing a lot of people, a lot of actors supporting each other. And that's really amazing. Like, this is what makes the community thrive, and it's what makes everybody do well. If we lift each other up rather than being overly competitive and doing underhanded tactics to try to win. So we really appreciate what amazing community spirit we're seeing from so many people this year. But that said, if you try to vote twice, you will get disqualified. You're not allowed to publish the voting link. We've said this a billion times, so I won't go into the details of that. You must promote the YouTube video itself. Why? Because we want to make sure that the viewers actually watch the show and it's not just a popularity contest. And yes, some of them might just go to YouTube and just go to the voting form, but we have the statistics and quite a lot of people watch the whole show. Or they certainly watch a few minutes, they're watching a chunk of the show, a good few minutes, which is really great. We want to have our viewers watch the show as much as possible. We want you to be seen. That's why we're doing all of this stuff. So if you share the link to the voting form directly, unfortunately, that is an instant disqualification. If anybody in your immediate team, like your writer or your director or your camera person, if they share the link, you will be disqualified. Please tell anybody that you've worked directly with not to share the voting link. That's really, really important. So if you've used a camera person, contact them before the Globals and say, hey, please do not share this link. You will get me disqualified. Why? Because it's quite consequential. If you win, you will get cash prizes and you'll get, recognition and awards. There are other prizes as well. Lucy Lennox has... she's a casting director, and she's giving a one-on-one to the winner of the main pro category. We're really excited about that. It's unfortunately only the main pro category this year because she's a new sponsor. She came on board kind of like 2/3 of the way through the process here. But in the future, we're looking at increasing that partnership. She runs a business called The Actors Home. It's like an online community and resource center where you can jump into to Zooms and meet other actors, meet casting directors, meet the the guests that she has coming in, and just like tons of cool things that you can do at the Actors Home. So we're really happy to be going into a partnership with Lucy and the Actors Home, and she's giving us a membership as a prize, and that one-on-one with her for the main pro gold medal winner. And next year, let's see what else we get. I think we'll have a really great partnership. But the point is that it is quite consequential. So if you try to get extra votes, and you could win a prize or money that doesn't belong to you. So we want to make sure that nobody is trying to cheat and sharing that voting link directly. We need to make sure that people come in and watch the show, or at least we have the best chance that they do that. So please, please, please tell your direct collaborators not to share the voting link. If you have a friend who shares the voting link on their social media, you must tell us about it. Ask them to take it down and tell us. You will not be punished in any way if this happens, if it's your friend doing it. But what we don't want is for someone to think it's sneaky to get their friend to share the voting link on their behalf. If we see the voting link, we will be very, very, very concerned. If you've contacted us and said, my friend did it, I've asked them to take it down, we don't have a problem. We know that you didn't do it, and it's all good. Again, I don't want to sound like I'm trying to be punitive here. I just want to make sure that it's really fair. We're very concerned about giving the genuine winners the victory that they deserve. So this kind of thing really sucks, and we want to try to make sure we do everything to prevent it. And I know that like 99% of people just aren't going to bother doing this stuff anyway. They have no inclination to do it. But this is actually something like the 13th festival that I've run, and I have seen it in the past. So we just need to protect everybody from that kind of thing. But of course, we do encourage you to share the YouTube link. We do want people to watch the show, like we've said a few times. So please do share that YouTube link and get people coming in and watching. You can ask them to vote for you if you like. That's totally fine. We see a lot of people doing that. That's totally fine. We see messages like, come and watch the show and cheer on the other actors. And if you like me, I'd really love your vote. I'd really appreciate it. That kind of thing is perfect. It looks really good. It looks nice. It's nice and fair. It's giving support to your other fellow actors. But as long as you're not sharing the voting link, please encourage people to come in and watch the show. We're really happy with that. Just a couple more things. By the way, anyone who's watching live, if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat, and I'll respond to them before the end. Otherwise, we can just do it via email. So we have a ranking system at World Monologue Games. You can find the rankings. The basic way that this works is if you make it to the regionals or the globals in any one year, you get points towards your ranking. We look at the last 3 years' games, and you get points for anything that you've done over the last 3 years. Your most recent achievement gives you the most points. Your last year's achievement gives you fewer points, and the year before that, fewer points again. So it's a little bit like the ranking in the tennis. You can be ranked world number 1 in the category, and that'll be based on a combination of your last 3 years of how well you've done in those categories. We look at the globals first, just a quick explanation how we do the scores. We look at the globals first, then the regionals. We start by looking at the judges' score, the proportion of judges' votes that you get from your event. And then we look at the viewer votes. So if two people have the same judges' score, we then go to the viewer vote to determine who is higher placed between the two of them. And then we give you a certain amount of points, and we do the same process for the last 3 years. So again, you get those points over the years. We also have achievement badges, which is a fun little sort of incentive scheme for different kinds of achievements at the game. So we have the finisher badge, which means if you've made 10 submissions over the years, doesn't matter which category, doesn't matter when, you get the bronze finisher badge. And there's bronze, silver, and gold. And I think the gold finisher badge is 50 submissions. So that's obviously something that'll take quite a few years for you to achieve. But yeah, that's what that program is. And there's 17 badges in total, and there's all sorts of things. Some of them are fairly easy, like submitting 3 years in a row. That's relatively easy to do. You just have to turn up. And then there's some things which are super hard, like reaching the globals in all 3 categories in 1 year. Incredibly hard achievement. No one's done it yet. So there's a whole range. So you can check those out. Both the rankings and the badges are on our website if you want to have a look. With your member site, you can make your submissions there. You can see all of the information. You can also see your achievements up there. We are looking at doing a pretty big overhaul of World Monologue Games in between seasons. So after 2023, we'll be going in and making a whole bunch of changes to the design and the sort of the experience. We'll try to make it a little bit simpler and make it easier to find information, etc. And we're hoping also to build a provision for judges to put their comments on your member page. It's actually technically very difficult to do because currently the judges don't have a login to view the submissions, which means for us to get the data, currently we would have to do it all manually, and with scores of judges and many hundreds of participants, it would just be impossible to do. So we're looking at building some kind of portal where the judges, or at the very least us, where our team can add the judges' comments in against your submission so you can see what they had to say. We did mention this last year. We were hoping to have it ready for this year, but we just didn't have the capacity. It's just me and Lisa working on this, by the way. We do have a couple of other people who come in and do some video editing, for example, or quality assurance, but pretty much 99% of World Monologue Games is just Pete and Lisa doing everything here in Sydney. We will make some pretty big changes, and hopefully we'll get the judges' feedback. That we'd be really happy to do that, because not all the judges are going to spend the time to write individual feedback, but some of them are happy to do that, and we really want to get it into your hands. But of course, again, with so many hundreds of people, we can't be forwarding feedback from one judge to 5 people and another judge to a different 7 people, etc. It would just take us too long, and we do not earn any money from World Monologue Games, if I haven't made that clear 50 times. Like, it actually costs us money to run this event, and it takes 6 months of the year. So unfortunately, we just can't do everything that we would like to do in an ideal world. But that will hopefully be changing as we build our new system. All right, guys, that's all I've got for this info session. So unless you have any questions that you're putting into the chat, please do so now. But otherwise, I just want to congratulate you once again for making it through to the globals. That makes you the best of the best. It's a huge achievement. We're really happy to have you with us. Thank you so much. Again, I just want to emphasize that we're saying all of these things to try to make sure that you know exactly what to do. We would absolutely hate to disqualify anyone. It is an awful thing. It feels awful to do, and no one likes being disqualified. So this is the only reason we're kind of, harping on about all of the rules and stuff just to make sure that we don't have that outcome. It would be a very poor outcome. But congratulations again. We're really proud of you. We're really happy to have you in the Global Finals. Please, if you have any questions after watching this, if you're still unclear about anything, just shoot us an email. We will be very happy to help you. Otherwise, have a lovely day. Have a lovely week. Good luck. I look forward to seeing your work in the Global Finals soon. We will be, I didn't make this explicit, we will be live streaming the shows instead of premieres for the Global. So I will come on and do an intro, then we play the show, and then I'll come on and do an outro. It looks to the viewers as though you guys are actually performing live. Most of them think that's what's happening. So yeah, do bear in mind that that's the pretty big difference between the Globals and the Regionals. For those of you who've been at the games for a few years, we've always done live streams. This is the first year we experimented with premieres for the Regionals. But yeah, we'll see you there at those live streams. Have a nice day. Catch you later.